Fun fact, did you know that if Red Velvet took an indefinite hiatus at the same point FX did in their career, the last comeback for Red Velvet would have been Peekaboo. We wouldn't have gotten Bad Boy or RBB or Psycho, and that's just mind-blowing to me that FX was basically like stopped before the peak of their career. Like, they would have kept getting bigger. I feel like they went on the same pace as, like, you know, Red Velvet has, and it's just like, it just makes you feel like, oh, what could have been? What would have been FX's Bad Boy? What would have been FX's RBB, their Psycho version, you know? It just makes me think like that, and I'm like, oh, we never got that. But, you know, we're not here to look at the future and wish about what could have been today. We're here to look at what happened, and I'm going to rank them from my least favorite to my favorite. So feel free to play along in the comments and let me know what your favorite to least favorite of the 9 FX title tracks that we're going to do. And shout out to Harold for subscribing at the top tier of my Patreon for August and requesting this video. I am super appreciative. That's such a fucking high tier, my dude. And yeah, so thank you so much. Let's give you my rankings of FX titles and do my first FX video in a long time. So let's go and start off with my least favorite at number 9 is Pinocchio or Danger. Yeah, for these bottom few, I'm not going to have too much to talk about because I really don't listen to them to make this list. I just, like, you know, listen to them 1 or 2 times to, like, you know, get a sense for them and, like, you know, get an idea of where I would put them. But yeah, Pinocchio just didn't catch me at all. At least, like, every other one had this, like, catchy part that I'd be like, oh, okay, I want to hear that again. Even if I didn't like the song as a whole, it had that one part I would kind of go back to. And Pinocchio for me just didn't have that. It was just not too memorable for me. To me, the best way I could describe Choo to my ear is La Cha Ta without the harmonies that La Cha Ta has. I felt like La Cha Ta had more going on vocally than Choo, and they were kind of like a very similar style song, but La Cha Ta doing more vocally, which made me appreciate La Cha Ta more overall, because that's why it's number 7. Yeah, so La Cha Ta, as I mentioned, that Choo didn't have, La Cha Ta has pretty cool harmonies. At least that from what I noticed on my first few listens. Because again, this is still a little bit too old school, too, like, you know, second gen sounding for me, I guess. Because I do listen to my second gen stuff every once in a while. But yeah, La Cha Ta's a little too much for me. I do appreciate those harmonies. It has a catchy hook, of course. But yeah, not something I listen to too often. But my favorite of these bottom 3. And now we can move into stuff that I'm way more familiar with number 6, where you have Hot, Hot Summer. Hot Summer. Oh my god. This song, again, still not playlisted for me. I never really, like, went on, like, a binge listening to it, but I always knew of it just because of the way they were like, hot, hot summer. It always made me laugh when I was a baby K-pop fan. Yeah, honestly, you know what? The best part is there's a tank in the music video. There's a flippin' tank. Like, what other K-pop group other than Big Bang put a tank in their video? What girl group put a tank in their music? Exactly. That's all I need to say about Hot Summer. Love is for and yeah, so number 5 is 4 Walls. Their most recent and the last title track that they released. Yeah, it's a pretty cool sound. It was definitely experimental for the time. Really, no one else did anything like it in K-pop. It's very unique sounding, and I guess that's why it never really caught me, especially when it came out. I wasn't a huge fan of it. I mean, it's grown on me a lot more now. I can appreciate it a lot more now that I've, you know, grown up musically compared to when it came out in 2015. But yeah, 4 Walls, it's like this halfway point for me. It's a little too abstract, as I mentioned, but I appreciate what they were going for, and it's a pretty cool direction that they took it when they had their only comeback with just 4 members. So we'll move into our top 4, though, and all 4 of these were on a playlist of mine at some point. Starting off with number 4, New Abo. Look, I don't know why this one stands out to me so much more than La Cha Ta, Chu, and Pinocchio, because all four of these kind of blend in together as like this, like, you know, old school second gen, you know, that the typical second gen sound of K-pop. I don't know, it just caught me. This is just super catchy, and I've loved the songs since before I even made a YouTube channel. I guess it's specifically also the post-chorus is like the catchiest part for me, but just overall, I love the aesthetic of it. I love, if you didn't know, my bias was Crystal back then. When I was a baby K-pop fan, I was a Crystal fanboy, and yeah, I loved, like, you know, she had like that black with like that like light brown highlight halfway down the hair. I don't know, it was different, but I dug it. So our top three starts with Electric Shock, one of the most classic, legendary K-pop songs. It has to go. Like, if anyone makes a top 100 K-pop songs of all time and Electric Shock isn't on there, they're either a baby K-pop stan or don't know what they're talking about, because this has to be one of the most iconic for a K-pop stans, not for outside of K-pop. For a K-pop stans, Electric Shock is like one of the most iconic K-pop songs, and I loved it. This album is great, by the way, too. Like, Beautiful Stranger on this album is really good. But yeah, Electric Shock, one of the super popular songs I ended up really loving too and listen to all the time. It's a really cool bridge from second gen to third gen, honestly. When I'm looking back, it was a really good bridge between the two. Honestly, this song is way before its time. Also, amazing album. But this song specifically, the title track, amazing song that was way before its time. If this song came out in like 2017 or 2018, it would have been so much bigger, I think. It's aged so well. Or I feel like I could go back and listen to it now, and I love that bass in it, right? That bass in there is so awesome. Just the song structure is so cool. And with what K-pop does in fourth gen now, I think this would have been such a breath of fresh air in a good way. Yeah, number one, my favorite FX title track of all time is Rum Pum Pum. It's actually the reason FX became the second K-pop group I ever listened to. If you didn't know, my favorite and first ever girl group was Girls' Day. And the song that got me from just being a solo K-pop Girls' Day stan to a girl group stan in general back then was Rum Pum Pum. And I don't know, it's just the rhythm part of me, the overlaying of the voices, oh my god, just the uniqueness about it. It was just like tickled my brain in the most perfect way listening to it. And I first listened to this at Christmas. It was at Christmas of 2014 is when I first started listening to this. Maybe December. And I just get these Christmassy, wintry vibes from it. So maybe it's because of the Rum Pum Pum title too, with like, you know, the Christmas style. But it just makes me happy hearing it, because it's one of my first like K-pop songs ever, and it's aged well for me. I still listen to it. This is one of the old, you know, second gen songs that I still listen to in coming on to fifth gen. So I don't know, but yep, that's my list. That's numbers 1 through 9 of the FX title track. Again, put yours down in the comments below. I would love to see which ones you guys are loving right now. And if you are new here, I give my Patrons a shout out at the end of every single video for supporting me on Patreon. If you do, it's for a few dollars a month. You can get reactions, you can get VODs, you can get, you know, be able to talk to me whenever you want to request something or something, like, you know, give me ideas or something. You could do all that on my Patreon. If you want to support me, you could do it there. And if you want to get a shout out like this, you can do that there too. So let me go through my Patrons. Shout outs to Swiss, Harold, Just a Penguin, Laura Fernandez, Pixel, Arston, Dorothy, Griffin Chiavo, Miyu's Ribbon, Sayway, Wookbook, Zakane, Ashlyn Giffins, Alston, Caitlin Gervin, Farhan Fleur, Fred Earth, Hannah, Kine, Jeanette Brendan, Natalia Krasinska, Novalites, Przemysław Polinsky, Rai Rai, Stray Kids Tima, Valtini, and Vani Yan, as well as all of my VOD tier people. I appreciate you all so much. Thank you for supporting me, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Have a wonderful day, everyone.